Just days before the season kicks off, the Seahawks have made a surprising roster move. Former Pro Bowl cornerback Griffin, once the face of Seattle's secondary, has been released. In his place, a younger cornerback steps in who has plenty to prove. However, is this only about Griffin, or are the Seahawks hinting a much bigger defensive reset? In this video, we'll cover Shaquille Griffin's release, the signing of Kendrick, and what John Schneider revealed during his latest press conference. We'll also connect these moves to Seattle's bigger roster strategy heading into Week 1. So the question becomes, is Seattle reconstituting its defense for the long haul or just making a short-term tweak? Shaquille Griffin's story with the Seahawks has always been an emotional one. The Seahawks front office drafted Griffin in 2017. There, he quickly earned a beginner role in Seattle's secondary and made the Pro Bowl in 2019. He left in free agency in 2021 and signed with Jacksonville, but his journey came full circle when he rejoined the Seahawks this offseason. Many fans saw it as a reunion story of a veteran who's returning home to bring in stability to a young roster. Unamusingly, Griffin's return didn't last long. He made the 53-man roster on Tuesday, but by Wednesday, he was cut to open a spot for another corner. General Manager John Schneider downplayed the move. According to John, he'll stick around for sure. We love Shaq. It was still a surprise. A veteran and fan favorite was released just a day after making the roster. That move showed that no job is guaranteed, even for a player with Griffin's history.
He has been cut from the Seattle Seahawks, which is unfortunate. Obviously, he started his career out here in Seattle, had a multitude of great years. He's been kind of bouncing around so far. Now, this doesn't mean it's all over for Griffin. He hasn't left anywhere. John Schneider has made it very clear that he wants to keep Griffin on the squad in some capacity.
The player who took Griffin's spot was Kendrick, claimed off waivers from the Rams. His background is as fascinating as his game. Kendrick started his college career at Clemson, not as a cornerback, but as a wide receiver. He eventually switched to defense, a move that paid off as he won national championships at both Clemson and Georgia. By the time he entered the NFL, his reputation was clear: a versatile athlete, physical in coverage, and aggressive around the ball.
First, we're going to talk about Kendrick. He's been in the league for a couple years now, 3 to be exact. Last year, he had an injury, so he missed a lot of time. He did, however, play a lot of games for the Rams, including having an interception against Seattle's very own Drew Lock in 2023. That is his one interception on his career.
Drafted by the Rams in the 6th round in 2022, Kendrick has always been steadily progressive. He played in 15 games as a rookie, starting 6. In 2023, he started 12 games and made his first career interception against the Seahawks. Seattle's claim of Kendrick is a calculated risk. He's young, cost-controlled, and already has starter experience in the NFC West. Schneider described him as a competitor, a really nice mover with good ball skills, and emphasized how strong he looked coming off his injury.
They fake the pitch. Lock. His pass is deflected and nearly picked.
What you can do about that, dude?
Give some love to the catch. That's beautiful. It's Higgins again. They're trying to get it.
In other words, the Seahawks see upside where the Rams saw expendability. Kendrick represents exactly the kind of reclamation project they've bet on before for a team that prides itself on competition. John Schneider met with the media after final roster cuts, where he began by praising the operations, staff, and scouts for handling the messy roster deadlines. In addition, he reminded reporters that the 53-man roster isn't a finished product. In his words, We're really excited about our 70, and we'll keep working that 90 group too.
We want to thank everybody in football ops, support staff for a great training camp, preseason. Jeremy Young and EK and the trainers and everybody that supporting our trip to Green Bay. It's a big undertaking, and there's a lot of work and logistics that goes into that to pick up the group and pick up the whole football operation and bring it to a beautiful city.
One of Schneider's main points was player development. 8 of Seattle's 11 draft picks made the initial roster, and 3 undrafted rookies also secured spots. That means 13 rookies are split between the active roster and the practice squad, showing a clear emphasis on building for the future. He also discussed the offensive line. Schneider mentioned that rookies Gray Zabel and Jalen Sundell are stepping into important roles. Besides, he credited the coaching staff for progress in creating cohesion. He added that the scheme under new offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak is giving linemen confidence, saying it allows them to come off the ball and feel confident in themselves. Schneider addressed Darian Kendrick directly on the subject of the secondary. He called Kendrick a competitor with really good ball skills and said the team thought he had a strong preseason. Schneider also commented on Griffin, stating he'll stick around for sure. So, what do these moves mean in the bigger picture? First, they reinforce the always compete philosophy. Nobody's spot is safe. Veterans with experience can be cut if the front office sees more upside elsewhere. Second, they highlight how Seattle is reconstructing its roster around youth and flexibility. Instead of stacking the team with older players, Schneider and coach Mike McDonald are leaning into rookies, undrafted standouts, and low-risk acquisitions like Kendrick. Third, it shows Seattle's willingness to play the long game. Griffin's release was about manipulating roster math to keep younger players through waivers. Moves like these show how roster building goes beyond talent. The addition of linebacker Chaz Surratt also fits this pattern. Claimed off waivers after being released by San Francisco, Surratt gives Seattle depth at a position that looked thin after cutdown day. He played 41 career games, mostly on special teams, but flashed potential on defense last season with the Jets. His signing explains why Seattle initially kept only 3 inside linebackers. The front office probably knew reinforcements were coming.
Like the active roster, and there's a trickle-down effect here, Rob, when there are moves made like Darian Kendrick and Chaz Surratt getting signed to the roster, you have to open up 2 spots for those players, and that means 2 guys are going to get cut. And if they're coming from the 53, the Seahawks probably want those players on their practice squad, which means, guess what? We got to cut 2 practice squad players to put those 2 guys on the practice squad, assuming that they clear waivers. So this is really it's a revolving door, so to speak, with how the roster and the practice squad is constantly changing. It's a fluid situation. So
the truth is, this isn't just about Shaquille Griffin being cut or Darian Kendrick being added. It's about Seattle reshaping its identity in real time. The Seahawks are younger, faster, and hungrier than they've been in years. And if Schneider's comments are any indication, this roster will continue to evolve right up until kickoff against the 49ers. What we're watching is a team trying to retool on the fly, not for nostalgia, but for the future. So here's where things stand. Shaquille Griffin is out, at least for now, and the practice squad is likely in his future. Darian Kendrick is in, bringing youth and potential to a position of need, and John Schneider has made it clear that the 53-man roster isn't locked. The Seahawks are showing us who they are under new leadership. What do you think? Was cutting Shaquille Griffin the right move, or should Seattle have kept him on the active roster? And can Darian Kendrick step up right away after missing a full year? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to go deeper into Seattle's roster decisions, check out our breakdown of last year's biggest Seahawks draft surprises. You won't believe who almost didn't make the cut.